Hi everyone, welcome to the Essex Sport Facebook page. My name is Arlene. I'm going to run a 30-minute fitness Pilates session for you today. Before we begin, if you just make sure you've got plenty of space to move your arms, your legs around comfortably. It might be nice to have some water nearby in case you'd like some. And also if you just make sure the floor isn't slippery, that you've got perhaps a yoga or Pilates mat to use. Okay, and also just make sure you do movements that feel comfortable for your body. So anything that doesn't feel comfortable, you can just leave out a few rounds or just rest, bring your knees to your chest, or just take a few moments to relax and then join back in when it feels comfortable. Okay, great. So we're going to start by laying on our back. And as you do so, just come to feel like your body's in alignment. So you're welcome to use a cushion or block underneath your head if that feels more comfortable, but just check in so that it feels like your hips and your shoulders are aligned comfortably, so like your spine is just nice and long in a straight line, so it's not kind of curved to one side. And just check in, you can relax your shoulders evenly into the mat, and if it's comfortable, just relax your arms either side of you. So we're going to start with just finding kind of a neutral hip or pelvis. So if you just place your hands on your hip bones and you just take a few little rocks forwards and backwards, you can feel your navel draw inward and like your tailbone tips up, and then as you exhale, almost like your tailbone relaxes into the ground, and there might be like a small rounding of your lower back away from the ground. So just a few little hip tilts, see how that feels, and then just kind of stop in the center, so it feels like if you were to create a diamond pattern between your index finger and thumb, that it would just be nice and even, that it's not higher at your index finger or your thumbs, and you can place your hands, so the base of your hands are on your hip bones and your thumbs are just below your navel. So just check in a little, continue with a little hip tilt of your hips, hip tilts, and let's see how that feels, and then come to rest. So that diamond shape is just nice and even and level. Okay, so there's our neutral spine. Lovely. So we're going to do a position next called the compass. So imagine that near your navel is the position north, and on each hip is west and east, and near your groin area is south. So we'll do those hip tilts again, but just think about, so if your tailbone or the lower part of your body were south, and you tilt it up and then relax it into the mat, so your navel comes upwards, belly fills. So just two tilts like that. So first south, your tailbone tilts up, and then your tailbone comes to the ground, so your navel lifts. Good. Now think about just finding that neutral spine again, that neutral hip placement. And if your right hip were east and your left hip were west, just think about lifting west upwards, so your right hip stays in contact with the ground, and you can feel the bottom lift away from the ground on the left. And then keep it nice and neutral, and then lift the other side. Good. So imagine if I had a book here, and the book would start to lift up on one side as your left hip lifts up, and then come back to neutral, and then your right hip lifts up and comes back to neutral. Good. So we'll do the north and south again. So imagine you're tilting your tailbone up and your navel draws inward, and then relax your tailbone to the ground and your navel lifts upwards, almost like a rounding of your back. And just do another round, tailbone tilts up, navel draws inward, and then tailbone towards the ground, navel draws up. Good. Back to that neutral spine, then lifting your left hip up, right hip stays on the floor. So it's kind of coming in the direction of the right side, and then back to center, and then the opposite side. Right hip lifts, like it's just kind of tilting to the side, and then back to center. And just do that slowly again. So left hip lifts, it's like it's coming towards the right side, and then back to center. And then right hip lifts up, but almost like it's drawing across your body to the left side. Okay, so we'll do one more round. So tilting your tailbone up, like south draws up, and then relaxing and drawing your navel up, like that's north, drawing up to the ceiling. Another round, tailbone tilts up, draws down, and then navel draws up. Good. Back to center. So left hip lifts off the floor, right hip stays in the ground. Like your left hip is almost kind of tilting towards the right side. Back to center, then right hip lifts up and kind of tilts towards the left side. Back to center, another round. Left hip tilts, lifts up, back to center, and then right hip lifts up and across towards left side a bit, and then back to center. Great. And then just come to find that neutral spine. Check in, do your shoulders feel even? Is your head in the center of your body? Good. So think about your feet, about the width of your hips, and your knees will stay up towards the ceiling. We're going to do a little heel slide next. So keep your heel in contact with the ground. You might relax your hands either side of your hips, palms facing down, but you're welcome to keep them on your hips. So we're just thinking about keeping the upper body neutral and level. And then very slowly, so knee stays upright, but slide your right heel away from you. Keep your heel in contact with the ground slowly. And then very slowly, like you're moving through molasses, draw your right heel back to its starting point. It stays in contact with the ground. Then we'll switch and do the left side. So your left foot starts to lengthen away and your heel stays in contact with the ground, and then draw like slowly, like you're moving through honey or molasses to bring your heel back. So stay with that in contact with the ground. If you want to make it a bit more challenging, everything stays neutral and no tension in your upper body, but you can, as you extend your leg away, you might just have it hover off the floor, and think about when you draw your foot back that it's staying the same amount of distance away from the ground the whole time. Good, so it's just a little lift of your foot away from the floor, about a centimeter or two, and you switch to the other leg and lengthen away, and then drawing it slowly back. Your heel returns, knee stays upright. Good, so stay with the option that feels comfortable. Just find the option that feels like you can maintain control and steadiness in your upper body. So there's not a lot of movement. So we're just switching legs as we do our heel lengthening away. Good. We'll do that again. So twice more each side. Right leg, then left, and just see if you like to can maintain connection with the ground, or if you like to have that lift of your foot as it hovers away. And then draw slowly back. Good. Keeping your hips, your body level, and your knees staying upright. It's like your foot's leaving in a straight line from a train track. We'll add one more round here. Lengthening the right leg away, drawing the knee up, lowering down, and then lengthening the left leg away, drawing the knee straight up, and then lowering down. Good. Let's check in. You're welcome to do a few tilts of your hips if you feel any tension, or you might have felt a bit of engagement of your abdominal muscles, and you can bring your knees to your chest if you feel any tension in your lower back, and just give it a little rock, or maybe even circle your knees in either direction. Okay. We'll come back to a stillness and keep your knees bent, feet about the width of your hips, and relax your hands either side of your hips. We're going to do a position called bridge in yoga, but it's called shoulder stand in, or shoulder bridge in Pilates, fitness Pilates. So we'll start with a little tilt of our hip, and then upwards, and then draw your tailbone down. So kind of like the compass, just start when we were just doing north and south, tailbone tips down, and then tailbone tips up. So when your tailbone tips down, your belly fills, and then your tailbone tips up. Good, so stay with that if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, relax your hands either side of your hips, tailbone tips up, and you can start to peel each vertebrae away from the ground. And just think about lifting as high as feels comfortable, and you might engage your bottom muscles, your glutes, when you reach the top, and then as you exhale, lower down. So you can move with your breath as an option. That's just a suggestion, but you might just focus on the movement itself. So tailbone tips up, maybe stay with that, or lift, peel each vertebrae up, lift as high as feels comfortable, and then gently lower down. So stay with that if that feels comfortable. Think about lengthening your knees in a straight line over the center of your feet, and you can engage your bottom muscles at the top and then lower down. So you want to make that a little bit more dynamic or challenging. When you tilt your hips up at the top, stay for a moment, bring your arms overhead. Lower your arms before gently lowering each vertebrae down. So stay with that if that's comfortable. We'll do 2 more rounds. Option to bring your arms overhead at the top. Just see how it feels for you, and then articulating each vertebrae down. Again, rest at any time, and you can bring your knees to your chest if it feels like it's the right time to take a little rest. Good, so last round here, tilting your tailbone up. Optional, arms overhead, and then gently lowering down, one vertebrae at a time. You can bring your knees to your chest, hold your shins when you finish, and give a little rock side to side or draw circles on the ceiling with your knees. See what feels comfortable for you. Okay, for the next movement, if you keep your knees bent, and just relax your arms down so your palms are facing the floor. Check in with that alignment. We'll use our breath now to bring our arms up. So as you inhale, slowly bring your arms just straight up towards the ceiling. Your palms are facing towards your feet. And as you exhale, bring your arms to rest behind you. And just move slowly in control. Keep stillness in the rest of your body. Then inhale, bring your arms back to extending up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, lower down. Good. So just think about keeping a neutral spine and just continue. Inhale, arms straight up. Exhale, relaxing them overhead. Just move at your own pace, no rush. Inhale as you return. Good. And then exhale, lower down. Good. 2 more rounds. Inhaling, arms straight up. Exhaling overhead. Inhale, arms up towards the ceiling. And exhaling, lowering down. So you might start to feel that in the shoulders. 1 more round. Inhale, arms up. Exhale overhead. Inhale, arms up to the ceiling again. And exhale, lowering down. Good, lovely. And you can give your arms a little shake, draw your knees to your chest again, hold your shins, and just might find a little rocking that feels comfortable. You can even rock forwards and backwards if that feels nice. Or you might like to draw circles on the ceiling with your knees. Good, so just find a rocking that feels comfortable for you. Good, lovely. Okay, so we're going to either roll on one side or just rock up from here. Good. Then come to sit on your bottom with your knees bent. Good, feet next to each other. Keep a long spine so you can hold onto your shins to find your sitting bones in contact with the ground and lengthen the top of your head up. And butterfly your knees open, bring the bottoms of your feet to touch, and just see how close you'd like your feet to be. Good, so we're going to do a little side bend here. So if you place both fingertips on the floor and just check in, so it feels like it doesn't feel stable, you can bring your feet further forward or sit up on a block. Okay, so slowly bring your right arm up overhead, turn your palm to face away from or towards your center. Then as you exhale, take a little side bend. Just see how that feels. Keep your hips in contact with the ground. Inhale here, then exhale, back to center, lower down. Good, inhale, left arm up, palm turns inward. Exhale, side bend. Stay for a breath. Inhale, and then exhale, back to center. Good, we'll do that again each side. Inhale, arm up, palm turns inward. Exhale, side bend. Keep both hips in contact with the ground. Inhale, exhale, return, back to center. Other arm, inhale, palm turns inward. Exhale, side bend. Just do that at your own pace. Hips stay facing forward. Back to center, lower down. Good, lovely. Then bring your knees inward. Step your feet a little bit wider. You can lean back here and just start to kind of rock side to side with your knees. Just relax out any tension in your lower back or your hips. You might make that a larger range by bringing your feet closer to your body. Just check in with how that feels. Good, lovely. Good, and then if you come through all fours for a moment and walk your hands to your knees and think about your knees and your feet. They're on train tracks, and just lift your knees up towards your armpits. You can feel perhaps that release through your calf muscles, and then slowly lower your heels to the floor, your feet about the width of your hips. Little bend in your knees, just stop wherever that's comfortable. You can have your hands higher up on your legs, and draw your navel inward and start to uncurl your spine very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, till you're standing upright, chin to chest, head blessed, and give your shoulders a little shrug, and just check in with how that feels. Okay, great, lovely. So if you just stand comfortably with your feet parallel and they're both facing, your toes are facing forward. So just step your feet wider into a straddle position, into the amount that feels comfortable. Okay, lovely. So just checking with how that feels, and then bend your right knee. Good. You can bring your arms out in front of you, almost like you're doing a chair pose, so keep your spine long. Good, lovely. So we're gonna push off with the right foot, with this foot, and step your feet together. Good, check in with how that feels. So do that again, same leg, steps out to the side, bend your knee, arms come in front of you. You might think about where does your knee track comfortably. Push through your feet, step your feet together. Good, 3 more times. Step your foot out, the knee bends, almost like you're sitting to chair, arms come in front, long spine, step your feet together. Good, and last one. Just step as wide as feels comfortable, so it doesn't have to be a wide step, and then together. Okay, so we're going to the other side. So step your legs into a straddle position, bend the other knee, arms come in front. So it's like you're almost drawing your hips back to keep a long spine, and lunge. You don't have to come deeply into that. Good, we're going to step off and draw our feet together. Good, so again, stepping wide, and as you exhale, step together. Good, and again, stepping wide, notice where your knees tracking, stepping your feet together. Good, just come in the range that feels comfortable, step out, bend, arms in front, step together. Good, one more round, stepping out. Good, and drawing your feet together. Good, lovely. So give everything a little shake, just checking with how that feels. Stand with your feet about the width of your hips. To find that, you might step your feet together, shift the weight towards your heels, turn your toes outwards, shift the weight to the balls of your feet, pivot on the balls of your feet, and step your feet wide. Okay, so next one, a few options. Hands on your hips, arms out to the side, or you can have your arms up overhead for more intensity. Good. Okay, so shift the weight to one leg. I'll choose this one. Bend the other knee. Think about your knee coming straight upwards, so you lift your toes off the floor. It doesn't have to be high, and then lower down. And just tap. Good. So you can do that higher by your knee coming up about hip height. Good. Point. And you can challenge your balance with your arms out to the side or overhead. Good. So we'll do two more on this side. Point. Lift your knee straight up, lower down, and last one. Good. So check in with that hip width stance. Come through the center and then shift the weight, other leg. So other leg standing. Point your toe, lift your heel, knee straight up, lower down. Good. And again, point, lift, straight up, lower down. You might feel that engage the abdominal muscles, so it's a good core workout. Good. We'll do two more. Again, more intensity, arms overhead. Just avoid arms overhead if you have any blood pressure issues. Last one here. Good. Lovely. Then lower down. Good. Shift the weight over. Just check in. Notice how you feel. You can give everything a little shake. Good. Place your hands on your hips. Shift the weight over to one leg. Toes stay forward. Start to lift your leg out to the side. And then draw your legs towards each other. So we're going to stay on that side. Draw your legs towards each other. Again. Out to the side. Back together. Good. And one more round. Lovely. Good. Come through neutral. Other side. Toes stay forward. Lift your foot, flexing and opening. Draw your legs as slowly towards each other, like you're kind of moving through water. Good. Two more rounds on this leg. And you're welcome to have your hands on a wall or a chair if that's more comfortable for stability. Lovely. And then give everything a little shake. So to relax your body, if you stand with your feet about hip width apart, inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, sit as if it's a chair. Let your arms swing down. And do that again at your own pace. Inhaling up, exhaling, swaying down. Good. Last one. Once more. Lovely. And next, we're going to do a little leg lift to the space behind us. So you can start with your hands on your hips. Stand again with your feet hip width apart. Good. Hands on your hips just to check that they're even. And then slowly bring your arms in front of you. Shift the weight to one leg. And think about drawing your heel straight behind your shoulder. Good. And so you might lean forward for this one, or you can place your hands on your hips or rest your hands on a chair or a wall nearby. Good. But draw your toes forward and then lift your legs straight behind you. Good. So just see where you prefer, if you like that leaning sense of your fingers reaching forward, or maybe like your hands on your hips, or hold on to a wall or a chair nearby. Good. Lovely. So last one on this leg. Good. And then shift the weight over, and you can give everything a little shake. We'll do the other leg. Good. So hands on your hips or in front of you. Lean to the other leg. The leg that's coming behind you, straight behind your shoulder. Draw it back. Good. Little leg lift here, so you can feel that activate in your bottom muscle. Good. Lovely. Two more on this side. Good. Last one. Good. Lovely. And give everything a little shake. Good. We'll bring our arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Sit the chair. Let your arms swing down. Again, inhaling up. Exhale. Relaxing. Good. Once more. Lovely. Next one. Good. Really nice. So if you stand again with your feet about the width of your hips, and just check in with how that feels. And if you interlace your fingers and bring the palms of your hands behind your head, we're going to keep our hips facing forward. Inhale, and almost like you're lengthening the top of your head, and then upwards. And as you exhale, rotate to one side. You might look over your shoulder. Back to center, hips stay facing forward. Exhale, other side. Good. So again, you don't have to do that with a breathing pattern. Just see if that's comfortable for you. Back to center. Use your exhalation to rotate. Back to center. Good. So just continue at your own pace. Good. See how that feels for your body. Good. Lovely. We'll do 2 more each side. Use your exhalation to rotate. Hips face forward. Check in with your knees. They don't feel any tension in them. Get 1 around each side. Nice rotation for your spine. Good. Lovely. And you can relax your arms out to the side. Give everything a little shake. Okay, great. So if you stand towards the back of your mat, you're welcome to stand off mat for stability as well. My mat's not too thick, so I'm just going to stand on my mat. Stand with your feet about hip width apart. Good. And just bring a balance throughout your weight on your feet, shoulders over hips. Good. So inhale here. As you exhale, gently bring your chin to your chest. Slowly start to roll forward. But think about keeping the weight evenly throughout your feet, so you don't feel the weight start to slide towards your toes more than your heels. And just stop wherever that's comfortable. And then we're gently going to unfold our spine and roll back up. Good. So we'll do that twice more. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, chin to chest, rolling downward. Just observe the weight evenly, so you're not shifting the weight towards your toes or your heels. Stop at the range that feels right for you, and then slowly draw your navel inward to unfold your spine, head up last. Good, so we'll do 1 more round. Again, come into this as much as feels comfortable for you. Just move slowly with ease, and you might even have your fingertips touch towards the floor. And then curl your spine gently, coming back up to standing. Good. So this time we'll do 1 more roll down. We'll just come all the way down towards the ground. So stop wherever that's comfortable. You can bend your knees to have your fingertips touch the ground, and think about walking your hands in a straight line from your feet. Good. So stop when your hands are about arm's length away from your feet, and then hinge back to kind of a downward facing dog feeling. You can have your knees bent to do this, but just very slowly think about lengthening your heels to the floor. So just check in with how that feels on your body. Good. 1 more breath here. Lovely. And we'll bring our knees down to the floor and come to a child's pose. So if you bring your toes towards each other, open your knees wider, and it's very slowly start to bring your bottom to your heels. You can bring your forearms down. Check in with where you'd like to stop here. So you can bring forehead onto fists, onto a block or pillows, and you can even bring your forehead to the floor. So just check in with how that feels for your body. Where would you like to practice that today? Good. Another round of breath here. Lovely. And then when you're ready, just very slowly start to uncurl your spine. We'll walk the hands back. Good. And then if you come to sit with your legs long in front of you, just sit comfortably so your shoulders are over your hips. Good. And you might have a little bend in your knees to find that alignment. So just come into that as much as feels comfortable for you. You might have your legs about hip width apart, your toes and your knees upwards towards the ceiling. Good, so we're going to inhale, bring your arms up overhead, and as you exhale, fold forward, relax your hands towards your toes, and uncurl your spine. And just do that again at your own pace. So inhaling, lengthening up, exhale, fold from your hips to bring your arms forward, and just come into the range that feels comfortable for you. So it's nice to have your toes flexed here, so your heels are lengthening away, so you can just come into that, the range that feels comfortable for you, almost like a sense of rowing. Good, so we'll do 2 more rounds. Good, and last one here. Lovely, and curl your spine, and we'll come to lay on our back with our knees bent. Good, and if you just open your arms a little bit out to the side and place your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, and then just very slowly start to relax your knees right to left. And just notice how that feels. So do it at the range that feels comfortable. Just a nice little release for our lower back. We'll do 1 more little movement here. So if you step your feet next to each other and think about having that nice neutral pelvis. So just check in. So like if you had that diamond pattern, it'd be nice and even in surface. Good. And then we'll slowly start to open just one knee off to the side. So do that at your own pace. Open at the range that feels comfortable, and then very slowly, like you're moving through honey, draw your knees back towards each other. Then the other side. So the other knee opens out to the side, and then gently draw it back to center. Okay, so just alternating knees. So other knee opens out to the side, slowly draw back to center, and again switching opposite knee out to the side, back to center. Good. So if this is your right knee coming out to the side, move like you're through honey. For that nice rotation from your hip space, then the left knee. Good. We'll do one more round each side, just checking with how that feels on your body. Good, lovely. And then we'll stop in the center, bring your knees to your chest, hold your shins, just find a nice rocking motion that feels comfortable, or draw your thighs to your stomach. So you might imagine you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your knees, do that in either direction, just checking with how that feels. Good, we'll stop in the center and just start to rotate your ankles evenly, and like you're drawing circles with your toes, and then go in the other direction. And try to make the circling nice and even, like you're drawing a perfect circle with your toes. Good, lovely. Back to center. If you have any lower back issues with that, you can adjust how close your legs are towards your stomach. Good, so flex your both feet, lengthen your legs away from you. Just stay wherever that's comfortable. If you have any straps or a towel nearby, you can use that underneath your feet. Good. And then gently relax your legs. Take a nice big stretch, arms overhead. Nice deep breath. Exhale, relax. Good. And you're welcome to stay there for a few more moments. But when you're ready, just gently start to stretch out into space. You might roll onto one side or bring your knees to your chest and rock up. Good. So if you'd like to stay in your relaxation longer, see what feels right for you. Thank you for practicing today with me, and feel free to check out the other videos we have on the Facebook page or on the Essex Sport YouTube page, and you can shoot us over any questions if you have any. All right, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.